Welcome to the This Is Coming Soon Morning program. Today we have a very interesting news. It's about a leading earthquake expert called Lucy Jones. She has issued a dire warning to Californians about the expected impact of a major disjunction to the San Andreas fault line. She said it. Listen now. When the big one hit Southern California, the damage could be much greater and could last much longer than most of us ever imagined. That's what she said this week. Loss of shelter, loss of schools, loss of jobs, and emotional hardship. We are risking the end of our cities, she said during this presentation. According to a USHS study called the Shakeout Report, when a high-magnitude earthquake erupts the San Andreas Fault, the damage will go far beyond the collapsed barriers and freeways seen in the 94 Northridge earthquake. For example, LA area supermarkets now depends on internet systems for warehousing and shipping food to stores, and the food is stored on the other side of the San Andreas Fault. With the development of the internet and the new just-in-time economy, none of them store food on the Los Angeles side of the San Andreas anymore, Jones said. So this is one more place where the development of the complexity of our modern society is creating new vulnerabilities as we face the big earthquakes. Fiber optics also be cut off when a disastrous earthquake hits the San Andreas Fault. Listen now to this, 2/3 of the connectivity from Los Angeles to the rest of the world go through fiber optic cables crossing the San Andreas Fault, Jones explained. So we expect at the time of the earthquake, when the fault moves, we will break these fiber optic cables, and 2/3 of the data capacity between LA and everyone else will disappear. Did you listen to it? I'll read it again. She said that when the earthquake shakes LA, 2/3 of the data capacity between LA and everyone else will disappear because the optic fibers will be broken. Listen up. Natural gas pipelines also cross the San Andreas Fault, so gas for cooking and heating would be in short supply. And the area's aging water pipes, which seem to break with great regularity, even without a tremor, are not expected to stand up well when the big earthquake hits. The water pipes, remember, the first thing you put in a city is the water pipes. That means our water pipes are some of the oldest parts of our infrastructure, Jones said. Listen now it again. 70% of the water pipes in Southern California are AC pipes, and many of them will be breaking when this earthquake happens. Much of the high-tech damage could hinder and the recovery effort in the weeks and months after the earthquake, according to Dr. Jones. So getting Southern California back on its feet could be a wrenching process. The World Wide Web wasn't in existence at the time of the Northridge earthquake, she said. Right now, think of how much both of your personal life, but also our economic system depends on having cell phone communication and internet connectivity. So this scientist, Dr. Lucy Jones, a leading earthquake expert, she has announced this week a red alert about the big one, the big earthquake that is being expected at any time in Los Angeles. It will be terrible. So everyone is expecting. All you gotta do is pray. Pray and pray. That's the only answer. But let's now make a bridge to the Bible. When Gog of Magog will invade Israel, no nation speak out against this invasion. The only nation that could barrel Gog is the United States. And when you look at the Bible, no nation do anything. So, what's the problem? Maybe the United States won't make anything, or maybe something really terrible will be occurring or have occurred on this time, and so the United States won't have any condition to make anything to barrel Gog invasion. So pay attention to the biblical times we're living in, because we're hearing about a catastrophic thing that will happen to the United States. Not any religious man is saying it, but a scientist is saying that the big one will be, listen here, will be, the damage could be much greater and could last much longer than most of us ever imagined. We are living in the end times. Or you believe it or not, the things, the facts are in the newspapers every day. So, we have only one way, the way to the Lord. Let's pray. Let's come back to the Lord, because Jesus is coming back soon. Put your own life in the altar of the Lord. Sanctificate. Live in a life of sanctity, of holiness, because Jesus is coming back soon. You're going to see and to listen to the scientist Dr. Lucy Jones when she spoke about this problem, this earthquake that will happen, that will hit the United States, California. God bless you too much, and be sure Jesus is coming back very soon. God bless you too much.
Warning from one of the country's most respected authorities on earthquakes. When the big one hits Southern California, damage could be much greater, and disruptions to our lives could last much longer than most of us ever imagined. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan joins us with details of that sobering prediction. Dave.
Yeah, obviously, Sylvia, we're not talking about a small shake. This is what the scientists call a major credible earthquake. It happens once every 150 or 200 years. Nonetheless, a frightening message. The title of the lecture this week to a scientific group meeting in San Francisco was shocking enough. Imagine America without Los Angeles. That's not a headline in some tabloid. It was a presentation to the American Geophysical Union, and the conclusions about the expected impact of a major San Andreas earthquake on LA and Southern California are sobering, to put it mildly.
Dr. Lucy Jones.
The messenger was Lucy Jones, science advisor for risk reduction at the U.S. Geological Survey. Most folks just know her as the earthquake lady. The societal fallout from a major San Andreas earthquake, she said, could be devastating.
Loss of shelter, loss of schools, loss of jobs, and emotional hardship. We are risking the ends of our cities.
And according to a USGS study called the Shakeout Report, when the big one rocks the San Andreas Fault, the damage will go far beyond collapsed buildings and freeways like we saw in the Northridge earthquake. For example, LA area supermarkets now depend on internet systems for warehousing and shipping food to the stores. And the food is stored on the other side of the San Andreas Fault.
With the development of the internet and the new just-in-time economy, none of them store food on the Los Angeles side of the San Andreas anymore. So this is one more place where the development of the complexity of our modern society is creating new vulnerabilities as we face the big earthquakes.
Fiber optics is another vulnerability that's expected to suffer major damage when a disastrous earthquake hits the fault.
2/3 of the internet connectivity from Los Angeles to the rest of the world go through fiber optic cables crossing the San Andreas Fault within the area that we're here. So we expect that at the time of the earthquake, when the fault moves, we will break these fiber optic cables, and 2/3 of the data capacity between LA and everyone else will disappear.
Natural gas pipelines also cross the San Andreas Fault, so gas for cooking and heating is expected to be in short supply. And the aging water pipes in LA, which seem to break with great regularity even without an earthquake, are not expected to stand up well when the big earthquake hits.
The water pipes. Remember, the first thing you put in a city is the water pipes. That means our water pipes are some of the oldest parts of our infrastructure. 70% of the water pipes in Southern California are AC piping, and many of them will be breaking when this earthquake happens.
Much of the high-tech damage could hinder the recovery effort in the weeks and months after the earthquake, according to Dr. Jones. So getting Southern California back on its feet could be a wrenching process.
World Wide Web wasn't in existence at the time of the Northridge earthquake. Right now, think of how much both of your personal life, but also our economic system, depends on having cell phone communication and internet connectivity.
Well, the shakeout report from the U.S. Geological Survey estimates it could take 6 months for the broken water pipes to be replaced across Southern California after the earthquake. And they say that while the Northridge quake, which was pretty big, directly affected about 500,000 people, a maximum credible earthquake on the San Andreas Fault could affect 10 million Californians. Sylvia, a lot to think about.
Yeah, stunning to think about, Dave. Thanks.